Hello everyone! This is Paushta Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. Today we're going to show you how to sew the zippers in the seams with the underlay pieces. The technique is pretty complicated, so be very attentive please. Here are the details we've prepared. The two lining details, the two details of the main fabric. It's very important that all the details were cut on the lengthwise grain, even the interfacing material. First, we need to decide where the zipper is going to be inserted. The marked place should be doubled with the interfacing material. We want to stitch the zipper in such a way that it's clearly seen on the right side. It should kind of be placed in a frame. Let's go to the ironing desk. The part where the zipper is going to be inserted should be doubled with the interfacing material. Notice that it goes 2 centimeters down from the lower mark.
Оставляем 2 сантиметра примерно клеевого материала полоски.
I remind you that the details of the interfacing material were also cut on the lengthwise grain. The zipper should be decatized in advance. Let's start working. This is the back of the skirt. This seam should be stitched. Anyway, do not forget that there will be a zipper inserted here. We're going to pin the seam and tack the zipper first. When it's done, we'll stitch the seam.
Участок под молнию сметываем.
That's it. Natalie has tacked the zipper. The rest of the seam should be stitched. The width of the seam is 1.5 centimeters. Be very accurate and attentive. Start stitching right from the checkpoint. The seam should be 1.5 centimeters wide. Natalie pinned the seam for stitching. You can take it if you want. This is not a mock-up we're working with. This is an actual garment. Next, the stitched seam should be pressed open. I remind you that the seam should be ironed first. When it's done, press it open. Be very careful when pressing the seams. The part where the zipper is going to be inserted should also be pressed open. We've prepared the garment for inserting a zipper in it. Do not forget to check if you stitched the details accurately. What should we do next? This is the piece of lining. It was also cut on the grain. First, we need to mark the center of the detail in it. Put this detail on the right side of the main fabric in such way that it goes about 3 centimeters down from the mark. Here it is. This is where the stub detail of the zipper is going to be attached. As I've already said, the lining detail should go 3 centimeters below this point. The center of this detail should match the seam in the main fabric. Next, we need to tack this detail. The stitches should be pretty big. It should be done for us to be able to take the pins out. Next, we need to turn the detail wrong side out. We need to mark the end of the zipper on this side as well. Next, we need to cut the extra pieces from the seams in order to make an accurate frame for the zipper. The seam extensions here should be just about 5 or 7 millimeters wide.
Срезаем только припуск шва.
Due to the fact that we've doubled the seam with the interfacing material, we can cut these details without any problems. I remind you that this is the point where the zipper should end. This mark should be traced to the right side. Next, we need to draw a beautiful frame. It should look just like you want it to. Its width depends on the size of the teeth in the zipper. In our case, the frame will be about 8 millimeters wide. This is why we need to measure and mark 4 millimeters on each side of the line. We've drawn the frame accurately. We need to stitch it next. It would be very hard to stitch the detail from the right side. This is why we're going to stitch it from the wrong side. We're going to use a one-sided foot for doing it. The width of the seam will be 4 millimeters on each side. Watch the way Natalie is doing it. I remind you that the width of the seam is 4 millimeters. If you don't have a foot of the needed size, you can draw a line for stitching. Be very attentive. You need to know how to stitch the bottom of the detail. When you reach the bottom point, leave the needle inside and turn the detail. The seam should be fixed here. The first half of the frame is already stitched. We need to stitch the second half next. The second side should be stitched the same way. Do not forget to fix the seam at the bottom. This is how the stitch detail looks like now.
Вот такая
The
получилась у нас
zipper is going to be
аккуратненькая
attached here.
рамочка для нашей
Next, we
модели.
need to remove the
Сейчас
tagging.
мы с изнаночной стороны
After that, the frame will be cut.
всю наметку, и можно будет разрезать.
Be very attentive. It's very important to cut the extra pieces accurately. Make a cut right in the center of the stitch details. Don't hurry, be very attentive. Watch the way Natalie is doing it. Make tiny cuts towards the angles in the end.
Таким уголочком оставляем.
It should be done for us to be able to turn the detail to the wrong side.
Вот здесь
Be
очень
very
важно
attentive.
хорошо,
It's very important for the details to be accurate.
потому что нельзя
Don't cut
пересечь
too
этот
much
уголочек,
and
нельзя
don't make the
недорезать.
opening shorter than needed.
Поворачиваем. Сейчас пойдем на утюг.
Next, we need to turn this detail to the wrong side.
Вырежем всё лишнее.
When it's done, we'll iron it and cut all the extra pieces. After that, we'll continue working with the zipper.
Аккуратно
Notice how
проутюживаем
gentle
все
Natalie is.
припуски
She's ironing the details very carefully.
с обоих сторон. Сейчас нам
We
нужно
need to make an
сделать
accurate,
красивую
beautiful
рамочку.
frame.
Для
To do
этого нам
that, we need
нужно
to cut
высечь
all
всё
the
лишнее,
extra
все
pieces.
лишние припуски.
The width of the seam extension should be about 3 or 4 millimeters. Due to the fact that we were stitching the frame from the wrong side, the seams are not too thick.
Именно
Do
вот
not
этой
forget to make
рамочкой
tiny notches here.
делали рамочку
It should be
по
done
изнаночной
for us to
стороне.
be
У
able
нас
to
есть
turn this detail to the wrong
возможность
side
сейчас,
accurately.
чтобы у нас не было большой толщины ткани. Делаем
Watch the way
небольшие
Natalie is
насечки
doing it.
в том месте, где нам нужно вывернуть. Аккуратно все
The detail should be ironed accurately and carefully.
чтобы оно у нас
It should be done for the seams to be
красиво
soft
ушло
and
на
thin.
изнаночную сторону. В идеале,
I
конечно,
recommend you
нужно
taking the
выметать,
details to the wrong side before ironing them.
выметать.
Natalie is a professional tailor, so there's no need for her to do it.
Всё это может сделать.
It's enough for her to pin them for ironing. Watch the way she's working.
В этих
The
уголках
angle should be
нужно
accurate.
хорошо
Cut all the
выстичь
extra pieces from them,
подкладку,
both the main fabric
чтобы
and
она
the
красиво
lining.
вывернулась.
The frame should be square. Make sure that it's accurate. It's very important. This is how the part where the zipper is going to be inserted looks like now. That's all for today. Next time we'll continue working with the garment. We're going to show you how to insert the zipper itself. We're Ira and Natalie. Subscribe to this channel, write comments, share the videos, press the like and the bell buttons. We would really appreciate your support. Thank you. Goodbye.